Welcome back to the Black Brain Trust. This is episode 891, Black Geopolitics. I'm here with my co-host, Nagone 11.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Good, brother. Yourself?
Excellent.
All right. Really quickly, I wanted to touch on this. I know everybody has heard the news about the Iranian president, Raisi, dying in a plane crash, in a helicopter crash, about a week or so ago. But I wanted to touch on something because I think that there may be something missing from this, from the news that has been reported. It has not been reported that this was suspicious or foul play, but I wanted to introduce another vector. And that vector was the previous incident that happened in Iran back in 2021. And this is from the New York Times. The scientists and the AI-assisted remote control killing machine. Israeli agents had wanted to kill Iran's top nuclear scientists for years. They came up with a way to do it with no operatives present. Let me just scroll down and go down to the actual significance of this article. Let me zoom in really quickly. Programming a hit. A killer robot profoundly changes the calculus for the Mossad. The organization has a long-standing rule that if there is no rescue, there is no operation, meaning a foolproof plan to get the operatives out safely is essential. Having no agents in the field tips the equation in favor of the operation, but a massive untested computerized machine gun presents a string of other problems. The first is how to get the weapon in place. Israel chose a special model of a Belgian-made FN mag machine gun attached to an advanced robotics apparatus, according to an intelligence official familiar with the plot. The official said the system was not unlike the off-the-rack Sentinel 20 manufactured by the Spanish defense contractor Escribano. But the machine gun, the robot, its components and accessories together weigh about a ton. So the equipment was broken down into smallest possible parts and smuggled into the country piece by piece in various ways, routes, times, and then secretly reassembled in Iran. The robot was built to fit in the bed of a Zamyad pickup, a common model in Iran. Cameras pointing in multiple directions were mounted on the truck to give the command room a full picture, not just of the target and his security detail, but of the surrounding environment. Finally, the truck was packed with explosives so it could be blown to bits after the kill, destroying all the evidence. There were further complications in the firing the weapon. A machine gun mounted on a truck, even a parked one, will shake after each shot's recoil, changing the trajectory of subsequent bullets. This is just a picture of the actual weapon that was used. Also, even the computer communicated with the control room via satellite, sending data at the speed of light. There would be a slight delay. What the operator saw on the screen was already a moment old, and adjusting the aim to compensate would take another moment, all while Mr. Fakhrizadeh's car was in motion. The time it took for the camera images to reach the sniper and for the sniper's response to reach the machine gun, not including his reaction time, was estimated to be 1.6 seconds, enough of a lag for the best aimed shot to go astray. The AI was programmed to compensate for the delay, the shake, and the car's speed. Another challenge was to determine in real time that it was Mr. Fakhrizadeh driving the car and not one of his children, his wife, or a bodyguard. Israel lacks the surveillance capabilities in Iran that it has in other places like Gaza, where it uses drones to identify a target before a strike. A drone large enough to make the trip to Iran could be easily shot down by Iran's Russian-made anti-aircraft missiles, and a drone circling the quiet Absard countryside could expose the whole operation. The solution was to station a fake disabled car resting on a jack with a wheel missing at a junction on the main road where vehicles heading for Absard had to make a U-turn, some 3/4 of a mile from the kill zone. That vehicle contained another camera. At dawn Friday, the operation was put into motion. Israeli officials gave the Americans a final heads up. The blue Zamyard pickup was parked on the shoulder of Imam Khomeini Boulevard. Investigators later found that security cameras on the road had been disabled. As the convoy left the city of Rostokhala on the Caspian coast, the first car carried a security detail. It was followed by the unarmored black Nissan driven by Mr. Farkazidi, with his wife at his side. 2 more security cars followed. The security team had warned that the scientists that day of a threat against him and asked him not to travel, according to his son Hamed, and the Iranian officials. But the scientist said he had a university class to teach in Tehran the next day, his son said, and he could not do it remotely. Ali Shamkhani, the Secretary of Supreme National Council, later told the Iranian media that intelligence agencies even had knowledge of the possible location of an assassination attempt, though they were uncertain of the date. The Times could not verify whether they had such specific information or whether the claim was an effort at damage control after an embarrassing intelligence failure. Iran had already been shaken by a series of high-profile attacks in recent months that, in addition to killing leaders and damaging nuclear facilities, made it clear that Israel had an effective network of collaborators inside Iran. The recriminations and paranoia among politicians and intelligence officials only intensified after the assassination. Rival intelligence agencies under the Ministry of Intelligence and the Revolutionary Guard blame each other. A former senior Iranian intelligence official said that he heard that Israel had even infiltrated the scientist security detail, which had knowledge of a last-minute changes to his movement, the route, and the time. But Mr. Shamkhani said there had been so many threats over the years that the scientists did not take them seriously. He refused to ride in an armored car and instead driving one of his cars himself, where he drove with his wife. He would ask the bodyguards to drive a separate car behind him instead of riding with them, according to the 3 people familiar with his habits. The scientists may have also found the idea of martyrdom attractive. Quote, "Let them kill," he said in a recording Mehr News, a conservative outlet, published in November. Quote, "Kill as much as they want, but we won't be grounded. They've killed scientists, so we have hope to bring a martyr, even though we don't go to Syria and we don't go to Iraq." Even for Mr. Farkazidi accepted his fate, it was not clear why the Revolutionary Guard assigned to protect him went along with such blatant security lapses. Acquaintances said only that he was stubborn and insistent. I'm not going to go too much detail on this because that's not really relevant to what I'm discussing here. I want to cover the location of the crash site. Now, where the last scientist was killed, which I just mentioned in the New York Times article, is not too far away from where the crash site is in Iran. Okay, this is just a map of where the crash site was for the helicopter. Okay, I want to introduce this piece here. Okay, this is from Raytheon. This is a pickup truck mounted laser. 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 um, a laser combat machine, okay, or weapon. Sorry, and the reason why I'm introducing this is because this is a possible vector. You have 3 helicopters. One is a decoy, and another one is another security personnel, and then you have the President Rouhani, the president of Iran, and another one with the foreign minister and other delegated officials. It's not outside of the realm, based on what happened with the scientists and the AI-assisted machine gun, that this Raytheon laser guided weapon could have been used as a vector to bring down a helicopter. Go ahead, Nagoni.
No, I certainly think that could be an option here. There are those who are looking at this and are trying to find a way to implicate Israel. But I have to say, Iran has been doing a lot to put a lot more of the blame, not only on because they don't have answers for why did they not go to, since they had this Airbus A300, which is about 45, 50 years old. They had no parts. It was too old.
It's a Bell 212. It's a Bell 212 helicopter.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what they had. And then they said an Airbus A300. I was looking at that as well. And I was just looking at a report from someone who I listened to quite a bit, a woman by the name of Palki Sharma for First Post. But anyway, I was just kind of going through her report earlier, and I was just listening to some of this, and I was just saying, well, there's a lot of issues that are coming up. Iran is right now kind of looking internally a bit as to why was the president, in this aircraft, not proper parts. Why didn't they go to Russia or China for help to get other parts for this? And that's something that I was actually questioning. I don't know if that was with you or with 'cause I've talked to a few people about this, and we were wondering, well, couldn't they get extra parts or supply parts from a country like Russia or like China, for instance? And it seems like that really wasn't done. So they're questioning that. Iran doesn't have questions for that, and they don't have any answers. They don't have any answers for that, except we don't know. We didn't do it. Just a lot of non-answers. So some of this is looking really strange. But last thing I'd like to say, they are still looking to put a lot of blame on the United States for this because of the sanctions, not getting parts and stuff like that could have serviced such an aircraft. So they are looking at the United States more as being a bigger part of the culprit and taking some eyes off of Israel, which I find very interesting. That's why I look at this piece of news that you're bringing up as very, very, very interesting to delve into a little bit deeper.
Yeah, let me finish reading this. This is from Raytheon. Okay, Raytheon Technology delivers 4th combat-ready laser weapon to U.S. Air Force. Let me zoom in on this really quickly. June 12, 2023. Last fall, the U.S. Air Force Lifecycle Management Center and Raytheon Technology successfully tested the Air Force's first pelletized high-energy laser weapon during 4 days of continuous live-fire exercises at White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico. The new pelletized laser weapon was the first 10-kilowatt laser built to U.S. military specifications in a standalone configuration that can be moved and mounted anywhere it's needed. Known as a H4, it is the 4th operational laser weapon system that Raytheon Technologies has delivered to the U.S. Air Force and is the 8th total system the company has delivered to the U.S. Department of Defense. The pelletized laser weapon, aimed at protecting people and assets against short-range aerial threats, passed the Air Force's test and assessment plan. This included multiple days of live fire exercises to acquire, target, track, and destroy drone targets in short-range attack, swarm attack, and long-range threat scenarios. Quote, anywhere the Air Force sees a threat from drones, they now have 4 proven laser weapons that can be deployed to stop asymmetrical threats, said Michael Hoff, Senior Director of High Energy Lasers at Raytheon Technologies. Whether it's on a fixed location, a flatbed, or even a pickup, these laser weapons are compact and rugged and ready to go. That's why we're proud to support the Air Force's effort to provide this new tech to the personnel who need it in the field, who can trust and be confident in the system's capabilities. Small enough to fit in the bed of a pickup truck, the laser weapon system comprises a high energy laser weapon module, a long range EO/IR sensor that also serves as the beam director, thermal control, internal electrical power, and targeting software, all packaged together for use in the toughest combat environments. It is operated with a laptop and a video game style controller, and it can plug into a long list of existing air defense and command and control systems to provide a needed layer of defense. Now, I'm not saying that this item, this laser weapon, was used, but what we do know is that there was a phone call, according to Al Jazeera. There was a phone call that was made just slightly before the helicopter went down. Number 2, there was no transponder turned on for the helicopter. And so I'm saying all that to say that you have 2 variables from the Iranian side. 1, you have a signal from a cell phone, and 2, you have no transponder on the chopper itself. And then 3, laser weapon capabilities exist. If it can be mounted on a pickup truck, we don't know whether or not you have the same threat actors out there that could have easily brought down a helicopter of this kind, a civilian-based helicopter. This is not military base. This doesn't have armor on it or anything like that, or any sort of sensors on it to determine whether or not you have incoming objects coming at the helicopter. Okay, it's not inconceivable that a weapon like this could have been used in Iran, and no one's saying anything about it. Intelligence operations are not stupid. They're intelligence operations for a reason. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's North Korea, Iran, Cuba. They know something is up.
I would have to agree, because in one of these reports it was stated that the helicopter was actually split in half as it went down. It was the helicopter splitting in half. Usually you see that type of thing if it's been impacted by some type of weaponry. Usually coppers don't tend to split in half like that. So that definitely makes things a little bit more it's a little more interesting here. The possibility of Israel having to maybe made an attack like this, it's possible.
Yes. So that's my point here, is that this weapon exists. Okay, this is a Chevy Silverado. Okay, this is not, a artist rendering. This is an actual truck, pickup truck that you can go down to your local Chevy dealership and pick it up and slide this weapon right on the back of it and be riding around in someone's backyard, man, and picking off all sorts of aerial objects. Okay, this is not, some Hollywood sort of thriller. This is real. This is real. We know all the G7 countries have laser capabilities at this point. The United States, Britain, France, Japan, any other member within the G7 has laser capabilities at this point. The US is probably at the forefront of it, but it's not inconceivable that the other countries also have it. And so I'm just saying, based on what Nagone just said about the helicopter being split in half, that could have been due to impact, but there was nothing stipulated about the crash of the helicopter that would say that, oh, this thing, was hit by a RPG. No evidence of that, at least not based on what was there in the pictures. We can go back to the pictures right here. Let's go back. Yeah, we don't have those pictures here, but the point of the matter here is this. This is real. Could it have been a laser mounted, a pickup truck laser mounted weapon that was rolling around in Iran? Because we know that an AI assisted machine gun was used here to take out an Iranian nuclear scientist.
That's a fact.
We know this now.
That's a fact.
This is all AI, not AI generated, but AI targeted based weapon. Okay. They had cameras on the vehicles in Iran. It's already been confirmed that Iran's adversaries do in fact have operations running inside of Iran. It's one thing to take out a nuclear scientist, but to take out a president, that's catastrophic from a military perspective. Now you're talking about a response, and who wants to really go into a response at this point? But I'm putting all this out there, I'm laying out the thesis. If they had an AI generated machine gun with all the sophistication of vehicles being set up with, sitting on road jack with cameras inside of it to spot and to target, and you had satellite communications helping to guide this weapon, it's not inconceivable that this truck-based, flatbed mounted laser weapon at 10 kilowatts could have been used.
Definitely in the realm.
Helicopter. Yeah,
definitely in the realm of possibility, because that helicopter was not, an exceedingly high-tech helicopter with, various types of countermeasures and so forth to really deal with something like this. Yeah, it definitely was not. I find it also quite interesting how Iran is really looking more towards the United States as being one of the key, actors in this, with respect to the whole, as we had mentioned before, sanction, the sanctions, which did not give them parts and stuff like that, so they could actually maintain their helicopters. So people are shifting blame, but yet this is out here right now. I find this very interesting, and that's something without a doubt you cannot dismiss. You cannot dismiss this out of hand.
Absolutely not. And I think that this should be on everyone's radar. If it wasn't before, I would have to imagine that intelligence operations, whether it is Russian, Chinese, Iranian for that matter, even Syrian for that matter, they had to have some kind of conception that, hey, do our adversaries have access to technologies that could potentially fly under the radar? We know that they've used AI assisted machine guns and other robotic processes to take out our scientists before. What is it to say that this sort of weapon does not exist within our borders? Who knows? Any last thoughts, Nagone?
No, I think that pretty much hits it right on the head. With all the speculations and so forth that are going on, and blame being put, and so much being was initially put on Israel, and then they've backed out of that now, saying that other players may be involved, primarily the United States. Not so much that we attacked them, but we did not aid them. And I keep saying that like a broken record because that's what they've been, really pushing towards inside of their government recently, and not putting some of the blame on themselves, but this could be a very this could very well be an aspect of this attack that nobody's actually talking about, and to raise the eyes on this is important, because I would not put anything past Israel. I just wouldn't put anything past Israel and their leadership currently.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you all for joining us. Please hit the like button on the way out. Share the video if possible. Hit that notification bell so you get all the updates from the Black Brain Trust.